Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about the excitement of losing weight, right? It's so exciting when you actually start losing weight and you look at the scale and it's getting lower and your clothes and sizes are getting lower and you're feeling better and everything's exciting and it's easy not to eat well and all the rest of it. But the problem is that excitement usually doesn't last. And usually once you finally get to your goal weight, that excitement kind of fades away, oddly. And I think this is really important for you to recognize. And I know you probably don't want to hear this because this excitement that you initially get when you start losing weight is really what the entire diet industry is built around, the process of losing weight, because it's exciting. And what a lot of people do is they trade the excitement of the food for the excitement of the scale going down. But then as soon as the scale stops going down, there's no excitement for them. And so we need to recognize this right from the beginning, because it's this whole process that's probably got you stuck now, because you have probably lost weight in the past and then put it back on. And you have probably done that a couple times now, so that now you don't really even get excited anymore, because you still anticipate at this point that at the end you just put the weight back on anyways. So what's the point? And so we need to understand that we can't really build our success around excitement. We're going to use excitement, but we're not going to use excitement exclusively. What we're going to do is we're going to understand that, yes, we'll be excited initially, but that excitement is going to fade. So how do we stay at our goal weight? We stay at our goal weight by reinforcing, by implementing and then reinforcing new habits, new ways of thinking, so that even when we get to our goal weight, we have set up a way of thinking, living, and eating that keeps us at our goal weight pretty much on autopilot. And the closest thing I could say that you do already with this is brushing your teeth. You brush your teeth on autopilot. You do it the same times a day in the exact same situations, and it's pretty much an autopilot routine. So this is the thing we want to do with your eating, with your thinking, with your living in other areas. So you can also weigh what you want to weigh, because again, your toothbrushing routine and habit is really good for keeping your teeth in, healthy and clean the way you want them to be. And you can do the exact same thing with your mindset, lifestyle, and eating behaviors. But the excitement is not going to remain. So we can't build it all around excitement. You can enjoy the process. You can get excited about it, but you can't just rely on excitement and willpower to keep your behaviors the way they're going to need to be to live at your goal weight. And this is the key thing I'm trying to tell you. And so the solution to this is right from the beginning, focus on installing habits, habitual behaviors that pretty much run on their own, that don't need you to be excited. You don't need to be excited about brushing your teeth to brush them. It's pretty much an automated habit and behavior at this point, and that's why you do it. So when you start to look at your weight loss and eventual weight mastery around building around habitual behaviors, I think it sets you up for much better success. And again, like I said, we're going to use excitement, but we're not going to rely exclusively on it. We're really going to focus on implementing and cementing in new habitual behaviors. So I hope this helps you out. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm going to get into them. Check my TikTok here. Let's see. And speaking of routines, my routine's off. My kid wanted to make me breakfast today, which was great. It was really good, actually, but threw my whole thing off. So it's so funny. Ronnie says, is it normal enough motivation to primarily not want to binge on pleasure days because of the amount of water weight that I gain on the scale the day after, on top of feeling shitty and the bloating? Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, use whatever you use whatever is at your disposal. You know what I mean? Like I always say, like weight loss, weight mastery, it's a war. It really is a war. It's not like you just have to make a decision to lose weight and then you do it. You live in an environment where you're constantly being conditioned to overeat and minimize your weight, your health, all the rest of this stuff. And so I use whatever's at my disposal. Now, that being said, is there enough motivation to not want to binge on pleasure days because of the amount of water weight? I think it's fine. I think that the second ones you said are better, right? So this is the reframe. And I don't know, maybe people don't give a shit, but to me, it's like, okay, if I overeat, let's say it's Saturday. I say Saturday's my pleasure day. I'm going to eat what I want to eat. Now, again, I can't stress this enough. Pleasure days are still structured. So pleasure days are not binge days. Pleasure days are just days when you're eating with an eye on fun as well. You know what I mean? So you're eating the food you like, but you're still eating them moderately. Okay, that being said, you go and you're trying not to overeat the food you really like, right? And you're saying, okay, I don't want to overeat them because I don't want the water weight that comes on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Okay, fine. You can use that, but I would absolutely just overall, I think you're better off if you make this a process about feeling as good as you can feel. And the more you start to connect and focus on the consequence phase, right? Because there's 3 phases of eating: anticipation, consumption, consequence. The more you start to focus on the consequence phase, and consequences, I mean mental, emotional, and physical. Physical will be the least impactful because if you're overweight, it's because you're overeating. And by overeating for so long, you've developed a tolerance, a physical tolerance to the overeating, right? Just like if someone does drugs or alcohol, it's like they will drink and they will have raise their tolerance, right? So your tolerance has raised when it comes to overeating and eating shitty foods. And you don't realize how shitty you feel because it's kind of the norm. You've gotten used to it. You habituated to it. So the mental and emotional pieces are usually the more impactful ones. And when we overeat or we eat the wrong foods, mentally and emotionally, we tend to feel down. Right? We start saying mean shit to ourselves. We start getting negative, and then we start to feel negative emotions more. And then on top of the physical thing, we don't feel that great as well. Okay. So the more you start to pay attention to the consequence phase, which always follows, I'm not making something up here and telling you is it real? It's always there. You cannot avoid the consequence phase. It's impossible. Now you have trained yourself to ignore the consequence phase. Yes, you have. You ignore it because after you overeat or eat too much, what do? I already know, even though I don't know you, I know what you do. You watch TV, you scroll on your phone, you're on the computer, you're on a screen, you're distracting yourself. And so you're not even aware of what's going on in your body. I already know this. So as you start to pay attention to the consequence phase, it is very powerful because it starts to reveal truly what these foods are doing to you. And most people, again, are living in the anticipation and consumption, ignoring the consequence and just repeating the cycle forever. And so as you start to pay attention to the consequence, it's very eye-opening. And so for me, why do I not want to overeat on a pleasure day? Because I don't like how it feels. I don't like what it does to me. So I'm taking account all those things, Ronnie, but I'm using all of them. But the main one I'm focusing on is I don't want to overeat on a pleasure day because I want to enjoy my pleasure day. You're never going to believe this, but the pleasure days are not just about food. The pleasure days ideally should be a day. A lot of times people make their pleasure days like the weekend. It's a day off, So what would you like to do? What's pleasurable? I don't know. My wife and kid just went out canoeing. That's fun, right? Go eat a big shitty meal and see if you want to canoe. So again, I think that I bring it into the moment. And so the main motivation for why I make good food choices moment to moment is that I still get cravings a lot less than I did in the past. But if I guess, I want to eat, let's eat a cookie, let's eat some crave, whatever. My mind says, how am I going to feel 6 seconds after I'm done? How am I going to feel? And so it's weird, Jim. I don't know. Is it? Because that consequence is always there. If you want to ignore it, knock yourself out. But I like to pay attention to it. And by paying attention to it, it's very, very helpful in helping me make very good decisions over and over again. So that's what I'd say, Ronnie. I'd give it that way. But it's a process, even motivating yourself. You have to figure out what actually motivates you. Dieters don't know about motivation at all. Dieters couldn't motivate themselves out of a bag. You have no motivation, dieters, and you try and use willpower to make up for that deficiency. You try and use willpower to make up for your motivation deficiency. I'm telling you, dieters, you don't even want to lose weight. I know it sounds strange, but you don't. And so you try and force yourself to lose weight, and that works for a little bit. And then you go back to how you always eat. But the core reason why that's going on is because you're not even motivated to lose weight. You think about losing weight, but you're not really motivated. Isn't that weird? Some people don't believe that, but I think I do. What's up, Joy? How's it going? Yeah. What's up, Jody? I got your message to do. Oh, yeah, tree down a move. I feel that tolerance raised thing. Yeah, for sure. Of course you do. If you could sit there and be like, oh, I don't know, I ate a bag of cookies. I feel fine, Jim. Don't say that all proud. It's just, they'll say, it's, I almost did it. I almost made a reference to hardcore powders and stuff that people do put up their noses. I didn't say it though, because I'm not getting restricted. I'm tired of getting restricted on TikTok. Sick of it. But anyways, it would be like someone who's an addict saying, "Oh man, baby, you can only do that much of it. I can do this much." Don't be all proud that you can eat like shit and feel fine. It's not. I'm not judging it, but I'm just saying it's not. That's not something I feel proud about. It's like you've you've overdone it for so long. You've damaged your body so much that you're just used to it now. So again, I wouldn't be. Really want to feel, but yeah, you gotta watch out for that because that happens, and then you completely lose the plot once you the tolerance thing. A lot of people don't realize they create tolerance for foods, which is kind of weird too, but that happens all the time. Got to recognize what these foods are doing to you. That's why I always tell people when they start this process, when they focus on the consequence, I say it's really the mental and emotional piece. Because then they can't bullshit me, because you do feel like shit anyways. And even with your tolerance, by the way, even with your tolerance to it, it's not just tolerance. It's tolerance and strategy. It's tolerance you've gotten used to it, and it's strategy is distracting yourself afterwards. So, if you think you don't feel bad after you eat a pint of ice cream, go take 5 minutes and sit in a dark room by yourself and just connect to your body and your breath. And let me know how you feel, because I got news for you. You're going to feel like shit. And then mentally and emotionally, it's even worse. You just never pay attention to this stuff, but it's right there. Paying attention to that, I think, is very helpful. And he says, not motivated to exercise regularly either. Yeah, me either. I'm not really that motivated to exercise. I for me personally, my exercise thing is getting stronger because my motivation is actually shifting. So it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Like for 30 years, I'm like, I should exercise more. I'd love to exercise more. But for 30 years, I haven't given a shit because I got my weight under control. I'm active. So I was like, I'm healthy. I do yoga. So I feel good and everything's fine. But more honestly, I'm like, oh, I should lift more. So I look more like I'm more cut up and, 6-pack defined, all that shit. And I never did it. And it's like, I reflect on it because I don't really give a shit. But as I get older, exercising has taken on a completely different meaning. Now it's a much more functional thing rather than superficial aesthetic thing. And so that motivation I can feel getting higher and higher, each and every year that passes. And, but yeah, the good news is you don't even need to exercise to lose weight. You do not need to exercise to lose weight. You just need to create a caloric deficit from where you're at. And that'll do it. So that's why I say to people, I say, listen, you have so much motivation. I don't know, dieters are the funniest people, and not in a good way, just to be honest. It's not something to be proud of, not because you can't lose the weight. It's not that. It's just like you're fucking so smart. Like I always know anyone that listens to me is pretty smart. And usually the people that listen to me are overthinkers, action-oriented, pretty smart people, usually perfectionists, all the rest of it. And so when those types of people are trying to rely on diets to lose weight, I'm just like flabbergasted because it's the fucking worst strategy and it hasn't worked for you forever. And yet you keep doing it. It's probably one of the dumbest things you do, I would bet. It certainly is for most of my clients. I would say it's one of the dumbest things in your life. If you reflect on your life, you'll find that usually most areas of your life, you want to get at a goal, you focus on it, you take action, you adjust, you know what I mean? You course correct and you get to the goal. And when it comes to weight, though, you're not doing that, but it's because you are just caught in this diet mindset. It's the only way you can think about weight loss. And it makes zero sense because it's not working. It's never really, oh, Jimmy, it worked. What, for 2 months? Who gives a shit? It never works long-term. And you just keep doing it. And yeah, that's what I'm always here for, you guys. Well, I don't sound very, very positive here. Whoops. Angie says, cookies equal addiction without a doubt. Sure. Yeah, cookies for sure. They can be addictive for a lot of reasons. Essence of Thema. I like that. I don't know what Thema is, but must be pretty good. Would you inspire us about creating the next level vision of our most healthiest self, that future self? I love that process of the hypnosis in my daily meditations. Yeah. Future self. I love that process of hypnosis in my daily meditations. Are you in the program? Because I sometimes I can't tell. Some people call it hypnosis, daily hypnosis meditations, which I think is fair. I think their guided meditation and hypnosis is very similar. Um, but inspire us about creating the next level vision of our most healthiest self. Um, from the get-go, I always think like the healthiest, the next level vision of our healthiest self, ironically, to get to that, it's less about vision, I would say. Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're in the program. So, because that's why I was going to say, if you're in the program, what I would suggest is I would go right to, I'm going to give you a specific lesson I just did. A lot of people really liked it. I thought it was a really good one. And it's kind of the quick version to get to where you want to go is you go in the membership area, you go to the bonus section and you go to the live weekly calls and there's all the replays. Scroll down until you get to the ideal me. Yes, it's the ideal me. And that will take you through exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Because, but I want to follow up with what I'm saying because the vision thing is not enough. Ironically, it's so weird. Vision is like 75% of our brain is dedicated to our visual stimuli. Very, very important for humans, vision. However, when it comes to behavior and how we think of ourselves, the auditory and sensory motor cortexes are actually more important, in my opinion. They seem like what you say to yourself, how you feel, what behaviors you have kind of installed into your body, those seem more important to me than the visual ones. So when we get to like, what's that healthiest, most, that next level you that you want to be, we don't just want to think about what you're going to look like. We want to give it more contextual meaning. And so what that training will take you through is the process of identifying who is the ideal me, who is the best version of me that I can think of. And how do I know I'm that person? Yes, part of it's visual. What do I look like? What do I see? That's a part of it. But the other part is, what do I say to myself? And that part is so crucial and it's so overlooked. I think a lot of this is because of the term visualization, and visualization is great, but it's just one modality. It's just one sense. And so I'd call it like three-dimensional visualization if you want to, but it's visual, it's auditory, and it's kinesthetic. It's what you see, it's what you hear in your head and say to yourself in your head, and it's what you feel. And so that training will take you through that process in a more complete and robust way. And if you answer those questions, it'll absolutely do what you're talking about. And then get on these lives and ask me if you have any questions about it. But that'll absolutely help you to find the healthiest, more ideal version of you at a higher level. So yeah, membership, bonus, live weekly calls, then scroll down to the ideal me. And yeah, scroll down, it'll be right there. It's maybe 8 lessons ago. It might be there. So, but watch that. And then let me know, because then if you want to go deeper into that, if you want to go even deeper into the ideal version of you, then you can go to the bonus section, mindset mastery, and you can watch the motivation and self-image trainings. Now, those are deep dives. I will let you know. That's not for the faint of heart. They're it's probably 2 hours of trainings, and there's lots of questions to fill out if you choose to. But that's work. That's well worth it, because that's like leveraged stuff. Like once you have a real clear idea of who you want to be and it's really motivating, it makes everything else a lot easier. I always compare like your motivation level, and your motivation is very much dictated by what's your goal. A lot of people have like your weight loss goals, most likely, folks, honestly, are probably very, very weak. Meaning I'm sure you want to lose weight. You think about, I want to lose weight, but it's like, if I ask you why you want to lose weight, you're gonna be like, well, because I want to look better. I want to wear this outfit. I want to feel more confident and be healthier. And it's like, it's all kind of vague shit that doesn't really mean a lot to you. So you have to give your weight loss goal a lot more meaning. I find a lot of people, and I say this all the time, but I got like people to work with me privately, it's $25,000, right? So just imagine the type of person that can, first of all, invest in that and that has the income to invest in that, right? These are high achievers, and they're very committed, and obviously they're smart. And so they come to me and I always say, what is your goal weight? And they will tell me, and then I will say, why? And then they stumble and fumble just like everyone else, So I'm telling you, you all assume you want to lose weight, but you don't. If you're not actively losing weight, it's because you do not want to. You'd like to, you wish you would, but you don't really want to, And so how do you get yourself to really want to do it? It's by setting a much more compelling goal for yourself, And that compelling goal is, again, the way you get to that compelling goal is you go deeper than just what you're going to look like. Right. And we go to the heart and soul of why you want to make this happen. So anyways, that's good work for you. And that's a great question anyways. So yeah, enjoy that. What's up, Don? How's it going? Midnight Rider said I walk every day. That's good enough exercise for me. Yeah, pretty much me. I'm a big walker. I like walking. I've been playing a lot of basketball lately. I do yoga every night for at least a little bit. I'm pretty active. I like being active because I like doing things that have a like I don't know what you call them. I like little projects. I like doing chores. Like I like cleaning stuff because then it's like I'm doing something and then it's clean. And that makes me feel happy. And so I'm very, very active, but yeah, in terms of like specific exercising, I'm still working on that. Although it is funny, again, you don't know what you got till it's gone, but my shoulder been screwing up for a couple of years and I'm wondering if maybe I've on the path to fixing it right now. But if this shoulder gets better, I would absolutely be so grateful to be able to work out. So it's funny how the way we approach things impacts it so much. Tree Donum says, but on the good side, eating more regularly has really helped with my energy and avoiding binging. Yeah, super Tree Donum. Yeah, that's perfect. That's great. That's a great side. It's not even a side, it's your foundation. We want to think about weight loss as really solidifying a foundation. Once that level's solidified, we move on to the next level. People don't think of weight loss like that. God, it's unbelievable. When I think about it, sometimes it hits me like a bolt of lightning when I think about how most people approach weight loss and how stupid it is. But it's probably one of the greatest psychological operations in history is the diet industry and how much they have really just absolutely mentally trapped people into the concept of dieting when it comes to their weight. And it just stops me dead in my tracks sometimes. I really think about it because it's so crazy. Because you all like dieters like in one day, right? Usually it's Sunday night. They're like, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be 100% better. And I'm going to be 100% better tomorrow, Tuesday, this week, next week, the month after, the year after. I'm just going to be perfect. And it's like, what? I thought, are you not a human being? Are you not a human? Because is that really an option? Can you just be perfect? Can you just wake up one day and all of a sudden just be perfect? It's so weird. So the alternative is that you wake up and you get a little better than you were the day before. And you just keep repeating that. And I will take that strategy every day of the week over the dieters 100% better. And not only do I get hit like a bolt of lightning, I'm like, Jesus, I can't believe it. But then I'm like, I'm always fascinating because I do this shit every day. If you don't know, every Monday through Friday, I'm here live talking about weight and shitting all over diets. And almost never, I can literally count them on one hand with two fingers, maybe three, people that argue with me about dieting actually being good. And the three that argue with me come here every day to learn how to actually do it now because they realized, oh, dieting is bullshit. And that's what I mean. So it's like, it's just like, how can you all be so brainwashed into thinking dieting's so great, but then you don't even push back when I say dieting sucks. It doesn't work. That's the part that really like keeps me up at night. Sometimes I just don't understand it. It's crazy. So good job, Tree Dotem. That's good. Oops. See here. Man, just agree. 100%. Diets seem ridiculous. Yes, they do. What's up, Don? How's it going? I'm way more motivated to exercise and eat better. Wish you could exercise off a bad diet. So that's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting, Don. But but just for the sake of reference, Don's pretty motivated to eat well too, though. Let it be known. Don talks that way, but Don is actually more motivated than you would assume by her words. Pet says, I can't stop self-sabotaging. Well, I do not agree with that. I don't know. Like, well, you know what? That's it. Because people always tell me the self-sabotage thing, and it always rubs me the wrong way, but I'm going to do what I like to do. Let's look up the definition of self-sabotage and see if maybe I'm wrong here. Self-sabotage. Let's look for a definition. Should we go with Psychology Today's? I want a definition. It's not like dictionary. Okay, here it is. The act or habit of behaving in a way that interferes directly with one's own goals, well-being, or relationships. Okay, fair enough. Okay, I get it. But why are you self-sabotaging? I guess that's where I always end up having a problem with it because I it's like this, right? Let's just say you don't know how to play the piano. Okay. And so you sit at the piano and you say, I'm going to play a song. And you go and you try and play a song and it sounds like shit. Doesn't sound like anything. Did you sabotage yourself or have you never learned how to play the piano? Right? Which is it? Are you sabotaging? Would you say I sabotage you try and play it and it sounds like crap. And you're like, oh man, I'm really sabotaging myself. Geez, I keep self-sabotaging myself. Right. You wouldn't say that, right? Because I think self-sabotage implies that you know what to do, but you're just not doing it. And I think this feeds into the whole diet mentality bullshit is that the idea that you know what to do and you're just not doing it. That is exactly why I hate dieting because you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. Yeah, you have a vague idea, but it's just like the piano, right? So why wouldn't I say I'm self-sabotaging? I know how to play the piano. I've never played before, but I know how to play it. You just hit the right notes at the right time in the right order and you got music. You got the song. It's easy. I just told you how to play a piano. So am I self-sabotaging when I don't know how to play because I never played? No, I don't fucking know how to play it. Yeah, I got some vague ass, meaningless, impractical definition of what it means to know, but it's not realistic in the real world. Yeah, I know how to play the piano. You push the keys at the right time, in the right order, and you got a song. Yeah, but that knowing is different than real knowing and me being able to play a song for you. And it's the same with you with the diet. Yeah, you have a vague sense. Yeah, I should cut carbs out, or I should eat 1,200 calories. I should stop eating for 16 hours, or whatever your thing is. You say it, but saying it, writing it down on paper and knowing it would work if you could do it, and then being able to do it are two totally different things. And so to be able to get yourself to do it consistently, you need to learn. You need to learn. You need to learn about yourself. You need to learn how you think and how to change that. You need to learn about your behaviors. You got to learn stuff. And so that's why the self-sabotage thing to me, it's it just seems like the wrong focus. You know, I would rather pet say, and not like that, but I can't stop self-sabotaging is so vague. It's virtually it's meaningless, you know, but if someone says I can't stop self-sabotaging, I keep overeating. Well, it's like, are you self-sabotaging yourself or do you not know how to eat properly? I know how to eat properly. I just eat less food. No, I mean, at 5 o'clock at night when you sit down at dinner, do you know how to sit down there and eat just the right amount of food and then get up and go and live the rest of your night? Well, yeah, I just got to make myself do it. No, I mean, do you know how to actually sit down just automatically while you're talking with people you're having dinner with or by yourself, eat the right amount of food, get up and go live the rest of your night? Uh, no, you don't. You don't know, or else you do it. You know? So again, to me, the self-sabotaging thing, I think, is just a doorway you walk through to bullshit yourself even more that you know what to do. And I just got to get myself to do it. And if I'm not doing it, it's because I'm self-sabotaging myself. Because the self-sabotage thing, it just pins you into a corner. So what do you do now? So how do you unsabotage yourself? Well, I don't know. Exactly. You don't fucking know. You got to learn. And dieters don't learn shit. Dieters, what's the anti-learning? Is there a word for not learning, like learning less? Because that's dieters. Because dieters couldn't be less. It's just so weird too. Because I know, like, I at least you dieters that are listening to me, I know are smart. And so again, it's just I try to point out the insanity, the absolute insanity of you dieting for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. So anyways. What? Jody said that the weekly hypnosis didn't come either. The weekly one is there though. You know what? I know what's going on there. I didn't set up an email for that because I know you guys are getting it through the PYT club. But if you go, it is there. The one today was totally my fault. I was a little behind. I had to record it last night. My computer broke down. I couldn't record stuff. Then it got too late. I had meetings. You know, I'm on the board of a nonprofit in my town, and I had like goddamn 4 hours of meetings yesterday. I was ready to kill someone. But anyways, everything just like snowballed to that. I couldn't get the session made or whatever, and it bummed me out. So sorry about that. There was a session from last week you at least listened to, but yeah, I feel bad. But the weekly one is there. It should be there anyways. I'll double check, but the weekly one's there. And there's redundancy. So Jody, just so you know, if you go to the PYT club, that weekly one will be there now, but that same one's in the Thrive one. But just look up top of the days and you'll see it, the weekly one. So, but I'll start sending an email out for that too. It always bothers me to invite people on TikTok. TikTok loves when you invite people as guests. Mario says, I remember canceling multiple plans just because I was fat and insecure. I feel like many people did. Oh, of course. Of course. I think that's it. Again, it's tough. Utilizing pain is a huge part of motivation, but yeah, that sucks. And I know a lot of people can relate to that. Treedom says, I've looked at people in the past with the body I wanted and thought to myself that I could have that body if I were willing to change my eating. Maybe. That's another piece too, is, I don't think there's anything wrong with having another person as, well, is there something wrong with it? I mean, not really. Like, okay, so right, you see someone and they got a nice body. You're like, oh, I want to look like that. I think that's fine as a general inspiration, but I think you got to balance that out also with who you are, because a lot of times you could set this goal of wanting to be or look like a certain person that you're just not. You're not that person, and I think it's damaging in a lot of ways. Again, I don't think there's anything wrong with being inspired by someone else, but I think you got to balance that out by always building yourself up and who you are, and I think there's a balance there. But, obviously we're inspired by other people, so I don't want to say like, oh, that's stupid. You should just focus on yourself, because I think other people, it does matter. But I think you got to balance that out, because you're not that person either. You know what I mean? So you may or may not be able to have that body. And I can't tell you how many people that's just ruined. They're like, oh, I got the weight down. I still didn't look like the person I wanted to look like. Like, yeah, but you're fucking right where you wanted to be. You're just feeling great. And, so it's just funny. Our minds are so funny. We can feel like shit no matter what sometimes. Yeah, Julie says eating healthier each day and loving it. Yeah, and that's the point. It's eating healthier each day. And I sit here and tell you guys, like, that's even me. Like, I'm always adding more to it, but there's kind of moments when you kind of have bigger jumps than others. But I can feel myself adding a smoothie into my diet, because I used to drink smoothies every morning, and I'm going to add smoothies in probably 2 or 3 times more a week, and I'm looking forward to that. And just mixing up. I'm like obsessed right now. I'll tell you what I'm obsessed with lately. And I know I'm going to be more obsessed with it over the next couple of weeks. I'm reading this book that's talking about it, but it's the idea of literally like a variety of nutrients. And that's really kind of really focused on my mind. So it's like a variety of plant foods, and so they estimate 30 plant foods seems to be like the healthiest spot. And that's what I'm really aiming for. Is that Ronnie says, I guess that it's been harder for me to reframe pleasure days because diet mentality has had me on all or nothing grip. It's the concept of the Last Supper. But he says, like, if I didn't eat like crazy, I'll feel deprived, which is crazy because I love my eating blueprint. It's like cognitive dissonance. Now, I totally get that, Ronnie. But again, what I try and say this to you guys all the time, and I always tell my clients this, that there's like knowing something logically, and then there's kind of like internalizing it. So it kind of just becomes part of you. And that's just the process. So to let go of the all or nothing diet mentality, you don't just listen to me one time and then be like, oh, okay, it's gone. You understand? Because what's a diet mentality? Let's talk about this. I was thinking about this yesterday, and I think this is a helpful conversation to have, is that what's a diet mentality? Right? And so, oh, it's a bunch of thoughts. Well, what it is technically, it's literally a neural network, right? It's neural connections, lots of neural connections that become a neural network. And so when you think about weight loss, this part of your brain lights up and you think these thoughts. Okay. And so we say, okay, well, now I realize that those thoughts aren't right. They're not helping me. They suck. I don't want to think that way anymore. Okay, great. But what are you going to think? This, first of all, you can't get rid of old neural wiring. So you still got the diet mentality. It's going to be there for the rest of your life. Okay. It's always going to be there. There's no getting rid of it. So what do you do? What do you do? I think this gets to the heart of why so many people struggle to lose weight in the first place is you don't understand how your mind works. Then so it's like you don't understand how to really approach your behaviors in a more practical, strategic way. But this is the first question. What do you do? What do you do with that diet mentality? It's there. Oh, I just want to get rid of it. You can't get rid of it. You can't get rid of it. Well, I don't want to think that way. That's the same thing as saying I want to get rid of it. Sneaky, but no, that's not going to work either. So what do you want to do? What do you want to do? You can't get rid of the diet mentality. So what can you do? What's the solution? You create a new mentality. Okay. And then it's like, okay, I played piano for 20 years. I don't want to play piano anymore. Tough shit. You're going to know how to play piano forever. You don't believe me? Right? Do the bike thing. I'll ride bikes. I don't want to ride a bike anymore. Hey, bikes are bad for you. Bikes are bad. They're bad for the environment, whatever you may think. I don't want to ride a bike anymore. Tough shit. You're going to be able to ride a bike for the rest of your life. Sorry. Do you see what I'm saying? Like that's how you have to think about your mind. So what's the solution? The solution is you create a new neural network, a network that's all or something, but you're building it. I don't like playing piano anymore. I want to play guitar. Well, great. But not playing piano anymore has nothing to do with learning guitar. Do you see what I mean? They're two totally different things. And so, yeah, I'm great playing piano. I played for 20 years. Who gives a shit? Now we're playing guitar. Now there is a little bit of crossover, it makes it a little easier, but it's a whole new thing. So you're creating all new neural connections, a whole new neural network. And so it takes time. And I think when you start to see things this way, you start to respect things and give it the time it requires and needs. And dieting is the idea that you can just make a decision one day and now you're totally a different person. And it's bullshit. So I say that to you, Ronnie, because what you're experiencing is completely normal and natural, you know? And the cognitive dissonance is just part of the process. Yeah, we talk about that in the program because it's weird, right? Cognitive dissonance is a weird feeling, and you feel a lot of it when you're creating changes in your life. What's up, Rowan? Is the only way to get into your app through your daily emails. If I try to log in directly to the app, it says wrong password. Not a big issue. It is a big issue to me. That app is I have such a love-hate relationship with that app. I was so mad a month ago. I was just going to get rid of it. And then I'm like, it's like, it's a redundant thing. You know what I mean? So I always understand that you can get into the program itself at any time through the website. And that all works great. The app itself, I find people saying this regularly. If they try to log in directly, it keeps saying the wrong password. They try and set it and it won't work. So all I can say is just keep using the daily emails for now, because that app. I'm going to ask him again. I'll try. I'm not going to lie. The support is a little frustrating, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to escalate this up on my list. I'm going to write on a Post-it note and I'm going to use your name specifically, and maybe we'll be able to track down this issue. Because if I could track it down, I love that app. I think it's good to just get it two ways. This is, what I am waiting for, to be honest with you all, is to have my own app. And what I keep waiting for is the system I use to deliver my program. I'm waiting for them to just add an app onto it. And so basically it would take everything I got in the membership and just all of a sudden I could put it into the app. And I'm just waiting for it because it would save me tons and tons of money and tons of effort and time. So anyways, I apologize for it. And yeah, just keep using the emails and we'll look into it today. And I better write down. I just wrote your name and I will nudge app. But yeah, it's kind of a normal thing. This nudge app is like, it works. It either works great or it doesn't. And if it doesn't work great, it seems like trying to troubleshoot it is impossible. So anyways. Don said, are you mixing up the Dons? I'd never mix up Don G. Don G's the OG. Don's awesome. She lives near me too, kind of. So it's like we both understand the New England thing, which is a thing, I should do like a New England only, like a weight loss program. Like a weight loss for sarcastic people. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Joan. Joan said I stopped using the app months ago and I'm fine with it because you have so much fabulous curriculum. I go through the email and laptop. I know. See, it's like, that's where I'm at. Like if I just shit can the app, like all of a sudden everyone would be like, oh, this is awesome. Cause they would just get the emails and everything works perfect. But it's like, I'm like, well, why do I do this? Everyone's got email, right? Cause it's like with the app, it goes like right to your phone. So it's like you wake up in the morning and like you look at your phone, there's like a little message there. Almost like, like a little message got pushed to your phone. Right. Email, you got to go to your email. Who gives a shit though? Right. Isn't that true? But then it's like you get a little message, you click on it and it opens up a nice little card. It looks cool. It's got the day's thing. And then you click that link and it brings you to the membership site. But there's been issues with that whole thing. So, but if I just got rid of that thing, no one would even know about it and everything would be easier. Cause I always say this, there's nothing more anxiety inducing to me than when like there's tech issues in my program. Because the program's fucking awesome. It really is. But it's like the little tech dumb stuff, you know what I mean? Can shade it in a way. So I don't know. I got to figure that out. Tara says, I've been in piano lessons for 1 year and that crap's hard to learn. Yeah, for sure. Right. Lots of practice. Yes. Which brings me to a point. One of some of my favorite people to work with are people that have played an instrument or done like some hobby thing for a long time, because we need a different reference point when it comes to weight. You got to get rid of this bullshit idea that you're just going to decide one day and become a different person and start to realize it's like piano, where you decide one day to start learning piano. You know what I mean? Like you didn't decide one day, like I'm gonna know the piano. You decide one day I'm gonna start learning it. And then you anticipate and recognize there's a lot of practice along the way. And you all with the diet mindset, it's like just one day I'm gonna just become a different person, and you're not. And I think that expectation sets you up for failure. And I think if you approach weight like you would like college or learning the piano, you're instantly in a better spot, mentally to that, because that path's way more accurate to what it is than this diet bullshit idea that Monday you start eating 1,200 calories and you just maintain that until you lose the weight. It's like, talk about fantasy world, just fantasy land. But yeah, the piano's a pain in the ass. So is a guitar. I'm playing guitar for 30 years and I still suck, and it's annoying. But it's like, again, I measure things relatively. It's a journey. It's ups and downs. It's annoying. I actually have a client I work with who is a piano teacher. And I asked her, I said, who's the worst student? She goes, adults. And the worst, I said, well, what's going on? And she goes, because they understand what we're doing. They get it quickly, but it takes a while to still get it into their fingers. And that's what I said, that's what we're talking about here. It's easy. You could read a book about nutrition or a diet and understand it and be like, that makes sense. That's what I want to do. From now on, I'm going to eat that way. It's like, okay, well, that was easy because you get it. Like, it makes logical, rational sense. You know all the reasons you want to do it, but then the actual doing it is a whole different process. It's a whole different part of your brain. And that's what people with the weight loss thing never understand. They think, okay, I just read about keto. That's what I'm going to do now. No, you're not, because the part of your brain that decided that's a great idea is different than the part of your brain that runs all your habitual thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. And that's why Program Yourself is different, because it's aimed at that part of your brain. It's aimed at the part of your brain that runs your habitual thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, which no diet ever talks about really, because they're just telling you what to do. So yeah, lots of practice is right. You guys hear that lawnmower? I always wonder, like, things that are really loud to me don't seem as loud to you all. Unless I'm recording a hypnosis session, and then I can hear every single thing. Everything. It's like they got a loose screw in that thing or something that's rattling around. Jim says, what's up, Jim? Have you heard of gua sha face shaping tools? I carry most fat on my face, so I was wondering if that stuff's worth buying. Many people recommend. I mean, my first response to all that is it's bullshit. And that it comes down to your eating. It comes down to how you eat and how you live. That's going to shape your face more than any tools. I suppose, unless you went to a plastic surgeon, perhaps. But I would say that the best way to shape your face is to clean up your eating and your lifestyle. So, or study, what is it, mewing? My son was telling me about that. Where you guys ever know about this shit? I don't know. Between Mario and like my kids, I learn about all this stuff going on the internet that I wouldn't otherwise know about. But mewing is like, I don't really understand it either, but you like hold your jaw a certain way to kind of give yourself a kids these days, they care about their jawlines, so like, I don't know if I'm not sure. I don't really understand it. He just kind of explains to me, but put the tongue on your mouth and you kind of, it's a funny world, but I don't know, Jim. Yeah. Go get it. Let me know how it goes. Get some of the gusha face shaping tools, use them, and let me know if it works or not. Kevin says, what's your view on Ozempic, please? I think Ozempic is great for people that don't have the time, the energy, the desire to put the time and effort into genuinely resolving the problem, fixing their mindset, lifestyle, and eating genuinely. And then I think it's great. If you just want to lose weight, you don't want to do any of the kind of work to it, you just want to lose weight and you don't mind being on the medicine forever and you don't mind not really fixing the core problems, then I think it's great. Because I think, being obese is probably a lot worse than anything the medicines may do, but what I'm talking about here really is weight loss wrapped in personal development. So this really isn't even really about weight loss. Technically, it's about weight mastery, but even the weight mastery is really in service of being the best version of you possible. And so Ozempic and that shit's does nothing of that like that. It'll help you, it'll make you feel fuller. So you'll eat less and you'll probably lose weight. But you're not fixing any of the core problems that created the problem in the first place. And so some people don't give a shit about that. And so to them, I say, just go get the medicine. But for the people that I end up working with, the way I see things is I want to fix the core problems. That's how I am. And that's how my clients are. So that's kind of how I look at it. But I have no problem with the medicines. I'm not anti-medicine in any way. Um, it's just completely different than what I'm doing here. You know what I mean? Oh, okay. Yeah, Jody, you got that. Very good. Yeah, I probably won't send another email because I'm sick of sending out emails. Lolita Tino says, "Can I lose 5 kilograms in 10 days?" Yeah, I think so. I definitely think you could. Athena said, "I'm currently going through what Mario was mentioning. Gosh, it's hard when you don't like how you look to socialize and feel good in my body." Yeah. No, I get that. I mean, obviously, I think everyone gets that. You know what I mean? Everyone knows. Everyone's felt bad about their body and not wanting to go anywhere or be in a picture or just whatever, for sure. But the secret is not to get caught in that feeling. Again, motivation to me is the ground floor of any change. And I genuinely, if you're overweight and you want to lose weight and that's all you think about, but you're not losing weight, I believe in my heart that it's because you're not really motivated. I truly believe that. And so I think motivation is always the ground floor of making anything happen. And I think the secret to creating motivation is understanding how to utilize effectively pain and pleasure. Now, I think what happens for you, Athena, is you might get so wrapped up in the pain now that you're so wrapped in the pain that you're not motivated. You're just despondent. You're just discouraged and feel like a failure and can't get yourself to do anything. So being able to use pain and pleasure, I think is kind of an art almost, and we spent a lot of time in the program kind of working on that because motivation is the engine that drives the whole car. So the more time you spend on motivation, the bigger the engine is, the easier the whole process is. And, but yeah, I get it, Athena, and you feel like shit, but the secret is not to get caught in those shitty feelings. It's to use them specifically. We use pain specifically, but we don't want to just exist in pain. And that's what a lot of dieters do is even if they're able to use the pain to get themselves motivated, that's all they use, right? So they feel so shitty because that's usually what triggers most dieters' weight loss success for a little while. I always call it the spontaneous pain-based event. And it's usually you step on the scale, you see a picture of yourself, you see your reflection, you go to the doctors, someone says something mean to you. And then you get so upset that you say, that is it. I'm going to lose this weight. And you're so fired up and you're in so much emotional pain. You pick the most extreme thing and you start doing it. Now, usually that pain doesn't last and you just stop. But best case scenario, you start to lose some weight. But now what happens is your pain starts to go down and your motivation disappears and you can't keep going. So again, pain by itself is not a good motivator. Using pain very strategically and specifically is wonderful, but we also want to use pleasure because ideally we want to live in the pleasure. Pleasures, Tony Robbins was famous for saying this, that pain's the biggest motivator. And I think in a very technical sense it is, but in the reality of when it comes to your weight, pain's not the best motivator. You're not going to live in pain. Your brain is a pleasure-seeking mechanism. And so the idea of living a life of constant pain is very unappealing to it. And so what we want to do is we want to set our weight mastery up around, we know what the pain is and we can tap into it if we need to, but we're really day-to-day living in the pleasure. And I try and express that to you guys every day. I love how I live, how I eat, how I think, to maintain the weight that I want to live at. I love it. I love how I eat. And I want to eat this way forever. And I'm excited that's going to keep getting better and better and better. So that's how I feel. How you feel about your weight loss plan? You know what I mean? You fucking hate it. And so it's like, you won't do it. You're avoiding it. I'm not avoiding it. I want it. My way of eating to live at my goal weight is magnetized. I love it. I'm attracted to it. I want to do it. So that's all the difference. So I get you, Athena, and I'm sorry you feel that way. But it's about, see, right now you're at the mercy of those emotions. And if you're going to master your weight, you have to take control of those emotions. You have to learn how to run your mind so you can run your emotions more effectively. And so, yes, of course there's pains, but we take the pain and we utilize it. And then we use the pleasure as well. I hope that makes sense. Lemon Sure says, Jim, you're one of the funniest men I know. Besides the wisest and smartest, you're a very intriguing person. Well, thank you. That's a very nice thing to read. Well, thank you. That's a very nice thing to say. That's so nice. I'm going to take a screenshot. I was taking a screenshot of people losing all sorts of weight, but that's a nice one. Thank you for saying that. Mario said you basically want to lose 10 pounds in 10 days. Yes, in a rush. That's why. I've been called fat. It's possible, I guess. Just drive fast. Good luck. Thanks, Mario. So relatable. Athena said, basically, nothing. How else do you expect to lose so much in so little time? Yeah, exactly. Right. Oh, back to school. Oh man, my time. That's a good one, right? I didn't even think about that. That's a good one. I bet you're right. I bet it's the first school, right? Beginning of school. Uh, Don said I didn't even hear the response. I got a phone call. Now I don't remember what I said, but I said something nice about you, Don. I don't remember what I said though. I think I said Don G. And I said you're the OG. Oh no, it was something else you said. Yeah. Oh yeah, because I know what I'll say it one more time, but you make it sound like it's easier for you to motivate yourself to exercise than it is to eat, but you're also motivated to eat well too. You eat well as well. So I'm just making that clear because I know everything's relative, but we got to remember that for you, Don, I think both things raised up a lot. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's easier for you to exercise than it is to eat well, but I think both those increased tremendously, over last year. Um, Ronnie says, when you say we can't get rid of the diet mentality, I take that to mean that we will struggle with this for the rest of our lives. Could you please expand on this? It feels scary to think about. Um, yeah, well, I say that shit just to put it front and center, folks. I did a lesson the other day where uh, I said, "Oh, weight mastery is a never-ending marathon," and I said it that way very intentionally, just to scare you guys, right? Because the diet thing in your mind, the diet's so funny. And again, I say this regularly, but when dieters come up to me and say, "I don't know if I can be hypnotized," I just laugh and laugh and laugh because dieters are the most hypnotized people on the planet, literally, literally. And one reason for that is that they they just think there's dieters like think it's a very incomplete thought system. Okay. It's a lot of fragments of thoughts that people think are real, well-defined system of thought. Meaning a lot of dieters are like, oh, I just got to get to my goal weight. Right. And I'm going to get to my goal weight. And then what? And that's why I always joke. If you ever, like, if one of your friends starts losing weight on a diet and they're kind of flaunting in your face and you're getting annoyed, one way to trigger a dieter who's successfully losing weight is to ask them, well, what are you going to do when you get to your goal weight? So there's a little trick for you. If you got some asshole friend that's kind of making you feel bad because they're losing weight and you're not, you can always bring them back down to earth by saying, what are you going to do when you get to your goal weight though? Because that triggers dieters more than anything else. And it triggers them because most dieters have no idea what they're going to do. It's not about living at their goal weight. It's about getting to their goal weight. And they get very triggered by this because the truth is they have no strategy, no plan to live at their goal weight long term. And so the idea that we can't get rid of our diet mentality, who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. Here's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. It's like, let's say you've been playing piano for 20 years and you're really good at it. It's automatic. You get up there, tickle the ivories, play real good music. Great. Right. But then you say, I'm sick of playing the piano. I don't want to play the piano anymore. Okay, great. You don't play the piano anymore. But when you walk by a piano, you might get kind of, I could go play a quick song or whatever. But so what? You can stop yourself from playing it. And then you can say, I want to play guitar. And so now you commit yourself to playing guitar. Now the guitar becomes the focus. Who gives a shit if you think something piano wise? Or you say, I'm playing the guitar. And it's like, I got to put my fingers this way. And your brain says, let's do it this way. Oh, no, that's for the piano. Oh, no, we're playing guitar now. So you just remind yourself. So having a diet mentality is not a big deal when you have a weight mastery mentality. Does that make sense? It doesn't matter. Now you just have two mentalities. Having two mentalities is the answer, folks. That's the answer. And I tell you, I'll take this one step further into a more specific way, is I know you all have a shitty voice in your head. I know you're all super mean to yourself, right? You have a very negative, critical, mean voice in your head that tries to motivate you, supposedly. That voice ain't going away either. It's not going away. And people always get upset about that. But it doesn't have to go away. All we need to do is we need to create another voice. So I can tell you firsthand, I've been doing this work for 30 years on myself. I still, first on the scene is this shitty voice. It's mean, it's shitty, it puts me down, it makes me feel bad, negative. That's first on the scene. It don't matter though, because right on the scene, right after that is my coach voice. And my coach voice is way more compelling and way stronger than this shitty voice. And so don't worry, Ronnie. It's not a big deal to have a diet mentality for the rest of your life, as long as you've got a weight mastery mentality. Because again, you might, I'm going back into a diet mentality. I don't want that anymore. It doesn't work. And we just shift over. And eventually you just start automatically going over to the diet mastery mentality. But having both of them doesn't matter, So you won't struggle for the rest of your life. It'll struggle for a little while until you start to become fluent with a diet mentality, diet mastery mentality, Weight mastery mentality, not a diet mastery mentality. Moses says, how do you talk to yourself after a day of binging or overeating? I'm spiraling. It's starting to feel like I binge more than I eat normally. Scared to weigh myself. Yeah, what I mean, but Moses, see, like you're trying to do this with there's no structure in what you're doing. And so for me, you have to understand like my eating is structured. So I have clean days and pleasure days, which doesn't mean, listen, folks, I just ate. I say this, I was thinking this too, because my kid wanted to make breakfast. I woke up early, I already ate breakfast, right? He comes down, he's like, I'm gonna make you breakfast. I said, well, I kind of ate, you want to do it? No, I want to make it today. This kid was focused. I don't know what got into him, but hey, right? I'm not gonna kill his dreams. He's a good cook too, actually. So yeah, bring him to the store, whatever, we're getting all the stuff for us. So he goes and makes me a whole nother breakfast. It was so good. I was very impressed. I don't know. This kid watches videos and just learns how to cook stuff. It's kind of amazing. So anyways, he does that. He goes, oh, let's get a donuts too. And I said, okay, right, whatever. It's the summer. My dog's about to go to school. I don't give a shit. This is a clean day. All right. So I ate my breakfast. Then I go and ate another breakfast. And then I ate a donut on top of it. So that's your clean day, Jim. That's your clean day. What are you doing, Jim? That's your clean day. You're going to gain a bunch of weight. I don't feel that way. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not responding that way at all. But that is because I have structure to my eating. So I know this is a clean day. And I know I ate a whole nother meal. Right. So I'm fine with it though, because I know in an hour or so, I'm going to go eat a salad. I'll be right back on my clean day plan. Well, what if you have dessert tonight? I'll be all right with it. It's an outlier event usually, you know? And so, that's the first thing is I'll get right back on track. Now, some clean days, one day snowballs into 4 or 5 days. Holy shit. I ate like shit all week, you know? But, I never get that far off track because I'm focused on what I want to do. So this is what I'm trying to say to you, Moses. You have no structure. You're just starting in the morning saying, I hope I eat well today. I hope I eat well today. That's what all you dieters are doing, to be honest. I hope I eat well today. There's no real strategy there. My strategy is I know I'm going to eat for breakfast. I know I'm going to eat for lunch. I know I'm going to eat for dinner. Pretty much. And I know I'm going to eat those things. And all of a sudden, my son wants to make dinner. So I ate that, you know, but that's an outlier event. My son goes, I'm going to make you breakfast tomorrow too. I said, no, listen, you can make it for me on the weekend. Okay. I enjoyed this. This was great. So it's like, it won't happen again, you know, but for you, Moses, it's like one bad day. It's like, oh, I got to eat better tomorrow. Eat better. What are you going to eat better tomorrow? What's your eat better? Eat better for me is I know I'm going to eat for breakfast. I know I'm going to eat for lunch. I know I'm going to eat for dinner. So we're in two totally different worlds. I have a complete plan for how I'm going to eat. And then if I say, okay, I'm going to eat well tomorrow, but that donut was so good today. That donut was really, I want another donut. Well, I don't want to eat it tomorrow. I'll eat it this weekend. I'll have one this weekend. I don't like to eat donuts during the week. I ate one today. It's because the situation called for it. But it's like, I don't like eating donuts every day because I don't like how I feel physically, mentally, emotionally when I eat donuts every day. So there's not a lot of pressure to want to do that because I have context for how I like to eat. And I've installed it as a ritual. So I have the programming there to eat well. You, Moses, do not. And so you're consciously just trying to eat well, and then you don't, and then it's a free-for-all. There's no structure to what you're doing. And without structure, you're relying on your prefrontal cortex, and you're wiped out from it because now you've been binging, and so now you're just in your head with these stories you're running through your head all day long, feeling like shit, and you keep getting more and more depleted. I don't get that depleted. You know, see what I'm saying? Like today it doesn't even ever happen anymore. I never spiral out for days. And it's not because I have magical willpower. Do you understand? I don't spiral out for days because I have an installed way I eat. So it's like even lunch, I'm not even that hungry right now, but I will go make a salad in an hour because I like how I feel when I eat a salad in the middle of the day. You know, it might be a little bit smaller salad. I'll probably won't put any egg yolks in it or hard-boiled eggs in it. I don't eat egg yolks during the week. But anyways, hope that makes sense, Moses. I'm sure I feel so much love for this little community. All of you, Mario, Jim, that with the Mario, of course, Jim. Well, thank you. Yeah, I know it is cool. Like I got to tell you, it's a lot of fun, and I love this because it's like this. I will let you know. And again, this isn't to make anyone feel bad if they're not in the program or can't be in it, but it's like that even on a million steroids with the programs. You know, especially the coaching versions of it. Talk about a community, especially our Thrive group. Thrive group is one of my favorite. Thrive group's a program you can get into if you did the coaching. Like if you got the regular 8-week program and we're coaching there, then you're invited to join the Thrive if you choose to, which is a year-long program. But that one, you know, because again, those are people that are super committed that I've gotten to know for a long time. And it's a whole, that's one of my favorite groups. That's been one of the best. I always love my private clients for a long time, but the group coaching sometimes I've done for the last couple of years. But the Thrive program to me, I will say is really like, it's next level because we're always, you know what I mean? Like we get to really get to know each other. We get to go in depth with things. So yeah, I love working with all of you, whether it's, you know, through the podcast or, you know, all the way up to coaching. It's really wonderful. Deb said, is your wife cutting the grass? No, it's my neighbor. They, I knew it was loud, right? Because it's like, it's wicked loud. And it's like, it's all rattly equipment, but they do. It's like the local place in my town that is, they mow everyone's lawn, but they got loose equipment. I can hear it rattling around. Anyways, Marcy said mewing. Yeah, do you all know mewing? It's the silliest. Okay, yeah, stick the thumb in the top of the mouth and my son shows me he's good at it. I know he does it. Because you know, like when someone's like, because I watched the things like, oh, mewing, and I watched the thing. I was like, I didn't understand it, and I'm like, I'm trying to do. I couldn't do it. My son showed me. He's like, you did it like perfectly. I'm like, I think those kids are all doing that. So funny. Mowing the lawn. Where is? I'm trying to find. There it is. Okay. Yeah, there's Mario. Of course, Mario knows. Basically, holding your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Do you do it, Jim? Very effective. Is it looking good? I can't do it. I put my tongue. That's what someone said. That's why someone mentioned it to me, because when I when I do meditation and breath work, I put the tongue on top of my mouth. You know, so maybe the yogis of old knew about mewing. Casey says, ever work with anyone on metformin? Oh yeah, I've worked with everyone on every situation. Everyone. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're on, at the end of the day, whether you're type 2 diabetic, hormonal, insulin resistant, Hashimoto's, PCOS, like literally pick whatever physical issue you may have. There's always a mindset, lifestyle, eating component to your weight and your health. You know, so regardless of what medicine you're on, you know, you can always improve things. Now, the medicines have an effect. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying like medicines don't matter. They do. People are on steroids, you know, it's a bigger challenge than someone who's not. But yeah, absolutely. Work with people on metformin. Oops. What did I do? Oh. There we go. All right. Moses says, do you think people care about others' looks as much as their own? Do you think people care about others' looks as much as their own? No, I do not. I mean, I think everyone cares about themselves mostly, right? That was so corny, but it's a marketing thing. Like everyone's favorite radio station is WIIFM. What's in it for me? You know, but everyone's self-focused mostly, you know, I think. My thoughts. It's crazy. TikTok's new thing is it lists every single person who's watching, and it puts a big banner up asking me if I want to invite them. So it's like getting through to the questions is hard work here. Plus this guy named Lawn. I'm just gonna close the door. It's like the thing is that soundproof. Usually it's just like it's loud for 2 seconds and then it just goes on, but they just keep mowing the same part, it seems like. Marcy said, I think it filtered out my comment again. That's so strange. I know it's filtering comments and I don't want it to. I like the negative comments. I like that. I gotta fix that. I think it must have reset its settings. But I like when people say mean things to me and say dumb shit. Makes it interesting. Jim said, I bought some oatmeal for breakfast. Is that a good choice compared to my cereal? It's definitely better. I mean, it depends what the oatmeal is, you know? So again, this is really important for all of you. And this applies to all the foods. Protein bars aren't healthy. Oatmeal, not necessarily. Oatmeal, again, it's a spectrum, you know? So, and again, everything is a spectrum. So, you know, yeah, oatmeal is probably a lot better than the cereals we were eating. But oatmeal in itself, it comes in different forms and some are better than others. So, you know, instant oatmeal is probably the least healthy oatmeal. Then there's like oatmeal you have to cook for 5-10 minutes. That's healthier. And then the steel cut oats, you know, and that's even healthier. And so basically it's because you're eating 3 different things, you know, and steel cut oats are probably the most whole intact oat. And then it's like, it's more refined and the outer stuff's pulled away, and that's the regular oats. And then there's even more of that pulled away and is treated to be instant oats. So there's that. And then instant oatmeal, if it comes in a package, typically is just pumped full of sugar as well. So, again, oatmeal it's not that simple. It's the type of oatmeal you're eating. And so overnight oats will probably be your healthiest one that you make yourself, and then you add your own stuff to it, and then down the line. But again, it's all about improvement though too, Jim. So it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like if oatmeal is probably a lot better than whatever cereals you're eating. So celebrate the win, but always know that you can keep optimizing. I said, sorry, maybe I missed you responding to it, but I didn't see it. I don't think I did, Marcy. I didn't see your question. I actually, so if you want to ask that again, I will get to that. Tom said, how would you suggest moving past a weight loss plateau? Yeah, I mean, so plateaus are going to happen, right? And the first thing is mindset wise, I think of plateaus as an opportunity to practice maintenance, so, plateaus are always going to happen. But again, at the end of the day, you're looking for the ultimate plateau, which is to live at your goal weight for just forever. That's it, So it's like, if you get to a plateau and you start freaking out, I think it usually means that what you're doing is extreme. And if you're not losing weight, it's too much to do, Again, you have to understand that people can do extreme things when they're really excited, and watching the scale go down usually masks the fact that they hate what they're doing. So to me, it's like when you hit a plateau, I think it's a good litmus test to evaluate how you feel about what you're doing to lose weight. First off, that being said, I always suggest when people hit a plateau, it's like, how long, so it's like, if it's been a week, that to me isn't even a plateau. I really don't think a plateau is until like a month. And so to me, again, the practice on maintenance is that whatever you've done to lose weight right now, you keep doing the same thing, but you optimize it. So whatever you've done to lose weight, now you optimize it by making it easier, making it more enjoyable for yourself, but keeping it the same. A lot of people hit a plateau for a week and then they drastically cut calories down. But what happens is it's like you're trying to build your weight loss on quicksand that way. And there's no foundation under you. So to me, it's like when I hit a plateau, I just want to double down on what I've been doing and optimize it, make it easier, more enjoyable for myself, and keep doing what I'm doing. Because you don't know if the plateau is because your body's just readjusting or something, and then the weight loss is going to start again, or you kind of hit a plateau and you need to start cutting the calories out again. But regardless, if you optimize what you've been doing for a month, making it easier, more enjoyable, kind of locking it in, and a month goes by and you didn't lose any weight, now you can confidently say, okay, I need to cut some more calories out. But now you're in a better place to look at what you're doing and say, okay, where would be the easiest place for me to cut some more calories out? You see, as opposed to people hit a plateau, freak out, start cutting more calories down, and then that throws them off track. And so again, what we're looking to do here, because the goal is so different, the goal is not just a weight loss of getting to the goal weight, it's weight mastery, living at your goal weight. And so the whole purpose is to create a plan. My whole life is maintenance. My whole life's a plateau. I'm at the weight I want to be at, and I live and eat the way I need to live at this weight. And now it's just, that's what I do. And I've installed that in, so it's pretty much on autopilot at this point. So anyways, I think that's how you get there, is with that approach when you hit plateaus, which are unavoidable because weight loss is inconsistent and unpredictable in the short term. Oh, this new thing with TikTok is obnoxious. I mean, what do they want me to do? Invite 50 people onto this? Because I tell you, I will not. Every time I've ever invited someone onto a live, when I first started doing lives, I didn't understand what was going on. I'd invite people on. And I can tell you, I tried it 3 times. And it was a huge fail every time. It was awkward, weird. And I was like, no. But what does TikTok want? Well, 50 people on here? Is that what they want now? Mara says, oh, well, honestly, it can't work if you already have a good jawline. Oh, thank you. You saying I have a good jawline? I don't know. Do I? I don't even know. Love how you already assumed I knew about it. I know all the weird trends. You do, Mario. What would I say? If there's an internet trend, I feel like Mario knows about it. He's the first one. He used to start a blog. Oh, Mario says I reposted my comment. It's gone again. See, I would love to know what it is now, because I know they're deleting comments off of here. I know it. And if I remember, I always want to, I forget how you said it. I got to set it ahead of time where I turn off the comment filtering. Yeah, it must be some word you say. I hope it's something totally offensive. Jim said it looks incredibly healthy, fruity. Oh, well, don't be tricked by that. The healthier something looks, if it comes out of a bag or a box and it looks really healthy, my little antennas go. I don't trust these guys. So again, I hope it is, Jim. I hope it is super, but please go look at the ingredients, read the nutrition label, look at the added sugar component, because it's not good in my opinion. I would never start my day with sugary oatmeal. I would never. I don't start my day with sugar. Not refined sugar anyways. Shit, it's instant. Look at that. Marcy said, I didn't watch TV yesterday until late, and I haven't wanted to watch TV lately. Replace TV with eating. Oh, look at that. Is that what you've been doing? Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder why they wouldn't let that comment come through. Have you replaced the TV with eating though, Marcy? Is that what you did? But I mean, if it's normal, I can tell you because no one watched more TV than me. I mean, I know people did because there's a lot of crazy people out there, but I used to watch easy 8 hours of TV a day. So it's like, I love TV. It was like a central part of my life. And I think the food went along with it, but yeah, I will tell you firsthand that the more interesting, real, genuine things you start doing in your life, I think the less TV you end up watching, and I think that's a natural thing. And I think it's a worthwhile goal personally, but not to replace with eating though. That wouldn't be good. Yeah, honestly, me too. The food was entertaining me more. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see. Are you saying like because you stopped eating so much that now the TV isn't as interesting? Because I could see that. Do you think cortisol face is a real thing? Cortisol face. I don't know. What's that? I mean, I can imagine what that is. You have like so much cortisol that your face. Let's see. Oh, facial swelling, huh? Social media. They call it cortisol face. I mean, to me personally, like the way I think of cortisol is that I would think cortisol face would be more like when I'm stressed. And this is how I think of cortisol in general. Yes, I think cortisol can slow down weight loss, because I think when you're stressed, your body kind of holds on to things. It goes into the fight or flight mode. And I think the high cortisol levels affect body functioning, probably affect how you look to some degree. But I think that there's secondary effects of high cortisol. Like you're probably going to eat more if you're stressed, make you puffier. So it's probably like you're eating more. But the cortisol probably factors in too. I don't know. But regardless, again, whether it's cortisol face or whether that's real or not, stress face is real. Right. I mean, if you're stressed all the time, just anxious and tense and nervous and you're only making these faces and that whole, never mind cortisol face. How about cortisol body? I know social media cares about how people look, but it's like, I'd be more worried about like cortisol body, cortisol mind, cortisol behavior, and of course those things are going to, eventually show up in your face, I would imagine, so I guess in one sense it's real, but probably not in the direct way that it's usually talked about, if I had to guess. October cat. Yep. Greek American. That's me. Greek American. My grandparents were from the homeland. I said, no, I don't watch much TV, just trying to get past the filter. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, is that, you're trying to like a coded message? Was that a coded message? I said, no, I just picked TV as a replacement where, okay, I got you. Okay, just talking about food. I'm sitting there. Thanks, Marcy. I was sitting there talking about TV for 20 minutes. Oh, replace TV with eating. Okay, I got you. I didn't eat yesterday until 8 p.m. I haven't wanted to eat much lately. Oh, I got you. Okay. Yeah. Why would they filter that? They are getting like that. I've heard that. So I wonder how many that's crazy though. Yeah, TikTok, I know especially has gotten, because you got to watch out. Like, as you all know, I'm sure I'm not the only, you see weight loss influencers, we'll just put that vague term on them, but there's a lot of crazy shit out there. A lot of people saying a lot of fucking dumb stuff. I can't do it. I say this all the time. I was going to do response videos and reaction videos. Like I can't, not at this point. Maybe I'll be in a stronger place at some point. I can, but I can't just watch people say dumb shit all the time. You know where the dumbest shit happens though is in comment sections. I saw someone was like, oh, I don't know, I've been feeling that good. And someone's like, oh, you tried carnivore? And it's like, is this how this works? Is it random? Yeah, well, Marcy, anyways, yeah, that's not unusual. I mean, especially we talked last week, so I rewired you a little bit. You know what I mean? So it's not surprising to me that you may be a little less hungry than normal. But just make sure watch your eating too. Like sometimes I will tell you, this is why I personally am not a huge fan of intuitive eating as it's generally understood. Because sometimes even I'm about to do it now in about within a half hour here. I'm not that hungry. I could not even eat, but I'm going to eat a salad because if I don't eat the salad, that's going to throw off the rest of things. So I will eat my salad. And so sometimes like if I'm not that hungry, I don't feel like eating. I want to watch out for that. You know what I mean? Because there could be a few reasons that happens. So I still want to make sure I'm nourishing myself, even if I'm not that hungry. So I hope that makes sense. Because otherwise we can just kind of throw everything off and then kind of get lost at stuff. Jim says, my dad bought me this diet book about people who eat literally only uncooked stuff. Hey, Jim, I did that. I was a raw foodist. That's what that's called. Yeah, raw foodist. I did that for about 6 months. And I will say, physically, I felt amazing. Mentally and emotionally, I felt absolutely horrible. And I was obsessed with food. I was always thinking about food constantly. And it was my quality of life actually, ironically, went down, even though I did feel really good. But I took a lot of lessons out of it. So I don't shit on it completely. But I think it's, for me anyways, it was kind of a ridiculous way to live. But I learned a lot of things that I pulled out of that. But that's so funny that's the book your dad got. But again, I would take that as he's looking for some way to support you. I'd assume. I don't know, but maybe he's looking to kind of show some support. So we can't judge him on what do they say? It's the thought that counts. I hope that's the case there. What's up, Zoya? Zoya said, I think they just list common symptoms and label it as chronically high cortisol so they can sell some green juice. I would agree because I think they always do that. That's why, like, again, the cortisol face is just like, it's this disembodied way of thinking. And I think that's always what's going on in our society. And I like to think about things holistically, which is why I say cortisol body, right? It's like, no, I don't give a shit about cortisol body, Jim. I just care about, I don't want my face to look puffy. Meanwhile, it's like your whole body is just like inflamed and running like shit and you feel horrible and you're sleeping terrible and you're tired all the time and you're stressed out. And it's like, I don't care about that. I just don't have bags under my eyes. And it's like, well, you get what you get then, if you're going to be superficial that way, then, good luck. Cortisol mind. That's a funny one, right? It's true though. All right. Yep. My parents are from Castoria, Macedonia, Greece. Yeah. Nice. KT. So it's mindset and calories, right? Like that's the short and skinny of it all. Well, KT, I would not say that. Although I wouldn't. I don't know. I kind of say like it's mindset and strategies. Like on a technical level, on the most technical levels, it's just calories, right? I always say like, again, I could throw you in jail. Fuck your mindset. It doesn't matter what your mindset is. If I'm in control of your calories, I'll make you lose weight. You could have the worst mindset in the world. Won't matter. But in the real world, mindset leads to the calories we consume, but so it is, yes, mindset and calories kind of, but I tend to think of it as the weight mastery pyramid. This is what we go through in the program, weight mastery pyramid. And I make it this way to indicate importance of each level. The bottom most important level is mindset. Then there's lifestyle. Then there's eating. And so that's more how I think of it. Cause I think to myself personally, like if I just have my mindset, which is rock solid right now, and I have my eating, which I have structured perfectly, right? And I do those two, but then my whole lifestyle fell to shit. Like I started going to bed later. I stopped drinking water, started being more stressed, stopped doing my relaxation and breathing stuff, stopped nourishing myself, stopped moving as much as I do, stopped meditating, stopped practicing gratitude. All of a sudden my mindset would turn dark and my eating would follow along with it. So I would say that the skinny of it all is, I would say, mindset, lifestyle, eating. And I think that's kind of the simplest way to simplify it. And then the way to improve all those things is a combination of mindset and strategy. That makes sense. But weight, technically, yeah, the skinny of the weight is calories. That's it. Calories on a very technical level. So, again, it's one thing to say like, oh, just cut your calories by 30%. To say that's easy to understand conceptually, but to actually do it consistently is a whole nother story. So yes, at the end of the day, your weight is a reflection of your calories. And I want to say that loud and clear because I get people sometimes arguing me about that. And, you know, if you don't think your weight's from your calories, what do you think? And I know I'd be like, oh, it's inflammation or it's my menopause or it's this thing or it's that thing or it's that thing. And it's like, again, I'm not saying those aren't factors, but still, regardless, it's the calories you put in your body. And we know this. So the weight loss medicines wouldn't work if that wasn't the case. Because you're literally, who's taking weight loss medicines? It's people with all these physical conditions and they're all losing weight. Why? Because they're consuming less calories. So I think the clarity of that statement, while it may seem obvious to you, for a lot of people, it's not obvious. And they're living in this bullshit story in their head that, well, it doesn't matter what I do, I can't lose weight because, and that's the most powerless thought you could have. So yeah, but mindset and calories is close. But I'd say, yeah, mindset, lifestyle, eating. Because even the calories, again, and it's like, so the calories on a very, very technical, specific level, but how do you get yourself to consume a lower level of calories long-term? And so the calories isn't enough. That's what a diet does, right? People do calorie in, calorie out. And, if you could do it, if you were a robot and I say you were a robot who usually eats 2,400 calories a day and I program and now you just eat 1,400 calories a day, well, weight loss is easy. The problem is, how do you keep yourself and you don't need to stay at 1,400 calories a day. Usually I'd say, well, let's drop it down to 1,900 calories a day. Let's see what that leads to, and how do you get yourself to eat 1,900 calories a day? Because what dieters think is I'm going to be hungry all the time and I'm going to stop myself from eating. And I think that's bullshit. I would rather say, how can I manage my hunger so I feel satisfied so it's relatively easy for me to eat 1,900 calories a day? So it is that simple, but there's a lot more to it as well. Yeah, Marcy's all just George Costanza it. It's funny. I was just reading an email I wrote about the George Costanza method. It's funny. Casey says, kind of glad they're getting a bit stricter on weight loss. Some of the things I see young competing. Yeah, I have to agree too. I mean, there's so much toxic weight stuff out there. And I know I'm at there's Deanna. Yeah. Simple, but not easy. Exactly. Thank you for saying that, Deanna. I need my clients a lot of times are like, I don't know if you ever remember like Key and Peele, they would do like Obama's like interpreter, like, like angry Obama, what he was actually thinking. But for me, I need an interpreter to take like my 5-minute answer and like my clients will be like, there's like a phrase. Talking phrases. Yeah, they're way stricter on it with TikTok and thank God, because there's so much dumb shit out there. And then it's a snowball effect, like of we had someone on there yesterday talking about it. Being a young lady, especially at this moment in history with social media, it's hard. I think it's a challenge. And so, you put someone in that situation and then you start putting all this toxic, dumb diet bullshit on there. It's no good. So I'm glad they are too. Mario said, yeah, you could do funny reactions, but honestly save your energy. I will right now. Again, it's on the back of my mind. Maybe it'll happen, but we'll see. Oh yeah, for sure, Casey. Yeah. Young people competing, who can eat less and giving messed up advice, the blind leading the blind. Agreed. I think weight loss in general is that. It's the blind leading the blind. It's really crazy, which is why I get out here and do this. Jim said, yeah, he thought I could get inspired by giving me the diet book. Instead, I'm scared. I'd rather become a carnivore. Yeah, well, Jim, here's the thing is that what I learned from being a raw foodist, and that this is such a valuable lesson, which again is why I always say, in life, you learn what to do or what not to do. Every situation, good or bad, is an opportunity to learn something and get better. And so the raw foodist thing, I learned some good stuff, but the biggest thing I learned was what not to do. And that was, I learned from that moment, don't do extreme shit where you get obsessed with food. And again, like I bought into it fully. You have to buy into something fully to do something that extreme. It was very difficult. But what I did not realize at that time was just how obsessed with food I was. I was always thinking about food because I was always hungry and I was always restricting, And so I learned that at that moment though. And again, I'm so thankful for that lesson because that literally in a way was almost something that led me to be all or something. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that went into that, but that was a big one that really made me realize, it made me appreciate that the weight and how I felt, those weren't enough criteria for me to pick the best weight loss plan, the best health plan. And what the raw food thing taught me is the mental, emotional component of the equation. And again, I would I enjoyed it. It was a great experiment to do anyways, but that lesson I learned, I think, is a foundational piece of what's led me to be able to succeed with my weight so well. Because again, I sit in front of you, I'm not some strict willpower dude who just lives this really strict thing. I love I love my setup. I love the clean days. I love the pleasure days. I like to have flexibility. Like I told you, I just ate a whole extra breakfast today on my clean day, and I'm fine. Look at me. Do I look worried? Do you see me freaking out? I want you to know, this is the part I want you to notice. This is the opposite of what we're talking about with Moses, right? Moses has been binging and he's freaking out. I mean, first of all, I wouldn't even define what I did today as a binge. It was an extra breakfast. But do I look worried about it? Do I look nervous? Am I worried about my weight now? Am I worried I'm going to gain some weight? Am I worried I can't eat for the rest of the day now to cover my calories? Do I look that way? I'm fine. I'm rock solid. And so a lot of that came from literally my raw foodist thing of realizing that I need to, again, the perfect plan isn't just about what I look like, what I weigh, what my health is physically. It's how am I experiencing it? How am I experiencing this mentally and emotionally as well? And once you bring that into the equation, it very quickly reveals what's good and bad. Because if you all did that right away, you would realize keto's, nope. Carnivore, nope. Intermittent fasting for most people, nope. 1,200 calories a day, nope. Counting points, nope. I don't want to do that. And you'd realize right away, I don't want to do that shit. It makes me miserable. And then you say, well, what do I want to do? The magic question that you never ask. You never ask. You never ask what do I want to do to lose weight? How do I want to lose weight? How do I want to live in my goal? You never ask that question. Don't you find that crazy, as obsessed as you are with weight, that you never, ever, never, ever ask that question? Don't you find that odd? I would if I were you. Because you've got this, the diet mindset is like a virus. It's a virus you've been infected with, and it's there. It's like a virus. It's like what do you call it? It's like it's the thing that leeches on things. A parasite. It's like a parasite on your brain, and it just sucks up all your rational, logical thinking about weight, and converts it into dumb diet thinking. Yeah. But Jim, yeah, I mean, take that. You should read through the book. You'll learn some stuff. There's just some valuable stuff, and there's valuable stuff in carnivore. I mean, there's valuable stuff in all the diets. There's always some little nuggets of value, but it's about creating the plan that works for you. So, don't be scared. You don't have to do it. If you're scared, don't fucking do it. No pain, no gain to me. I'm not a big fan of, I like to say no pain, no pain. Jim says, I'm convinced you're not human. How did you manage? What did you eat even? It's so funny you asked that, because when I think back, I'm like, what the hell did I eat? I was extremely thin. I will let you know. But what did I eat? I just ate fruits and vegetables. We used to make, the big thing was we raw tuna. That was actually, that worked out. Although we did cook it a little bit. Like I would sear the outside of it. That was, it was like warm. Like that was a big deal. But it was, oh my God, it was so ridiculous. And I was like, I'm talking like 100% raw mostly. I mean, I don't want to say 100%. I was probably like 95%, right? But like the 5%, I literally remember this. Like I'm going right back in my mind. Like, when was it? 25 years ago, I think. And I remember I remember the kitchen, the place I was living at. And I remember there was a couple Triscuits. And like, I remember my wife and I splitting them up, and it was such a big deal. It was funny though. Again, it was an experience I wouldn't trade for the world, but what a silly way to live, and thank God I learned that. So yeah, what did we eat? I don't know. We ate lots of salads. That was our big thing. I remember that too, because we were waiting tables at the time. But during the day we would go to like the local co-op and we'd get salad, like big ass salads. And that was like, so exciting, because it was all right. It was a salad bar, and that was a big deal. And then at night and stuff, I don't even remember what we would eat. A lot of vegetables, and there was stuff like it's so funny. We used to eat bulgur wheat, which we thought was raw, and it turned out it wasn't. It was ridiculous. It was stupid. So, anyways, Deanna says, had a tough week last week and wasn't able to plan my meals. Got too hungry and made bad decisions. It's all about structured eating and managing my hunger. Yeah, Deanna. But again, it's the same thing that when you have weeks like that, what it does. See, this is what dieters never know, and people want to lose weight, never understand, is that knowing that you need to structure your eating is one thing, but internalizing it is another. you all know this, right? There's knowing something logically, and then there's when it like takes hold, right? So the process of mastering your weight isn't just like me teaching you a bunch of stuff. It's you practicing it. And then honestly, that when you make usually the biggest strides come right after the biggest fuck ups, because you fuck something up and then all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, structuring is really important, you know? And it just, it becomes more internalized, becomes more important to you. You conceptualize it differently. So again, Deanna, no big deal. That's part of the process, and you want to welcome that because again, as long as you learn from it, then, that's experience well spent, in my opinion. All right. She says, off topic. Have you heard of Dr. John M. Kirsch? He wrote a book on shoulder pain and prevention. No, but that one's going to go right past the Post-it note right onto a search tab open. Dr. John. Because I don't know. I was excited about this shoulder. And now I don't know. Oh, look at that. I just look at his website. Right off the bat, I see him hanging. That's the next one I got to do. But I can't, that folks, like when you have shoulder pain, one of the things they recommend you get like a chin up bar and you hang from it. And I have a chin up bar, but I had to take it down because my goddamn kid will not walk past this fucking thing without whacking it. He jumps on it, he hang from it, he'll whack it. And it's like, after a day of work, 7:00 going in the house, like he gets the dog worked up, you know what I mean? Which I can handle a little bit better, but the banging that thing makes every time he hits it, I took it down. I put it down in the basement, but I got to bring it back out and hang from it. But I'm hoping, I don't know. We'll see. Also, my shoulder, it goes through phases and it's starting to hurt a little bit more now, but I'm like, it doesn't hurt as much as it used to. So maybe it's still getting better. We'll see. But I will look that up. Thank you for telling me that. Cause yeah, this becomes a new focus of mine. Oh yeah, there you go. His whole method is hanging from a bar to fix shoulder problems. I've heard that so much and I believe it. I'm going to do it. This kid's going back to school next week. So maybe I'll pull the bar out during the day and then hang during the day and then put it back so that he can't hit it. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. KT said, I'd like to see you and Goggins have a chat. Oh yeah, right. I don't think David Goggins would like me much. And I don't think I would, I'm not saying he wouldn't like me, but he certainly would not like my philosophy on life, but I don't like his philosophy on life, which isn't to say I don't like it, but it's so not me. Do you know what I mean? And again, I speak that all the time because I've had a number of people tell me that literally, I literally had people write to me long emails about thanking me for what I've said about David Goggins. Like I didn't realize how wrapped up I was in that. And then the weirdest thing happens with Goggins people, I'm not saying everyone, but especially young guys, is like, he becomes like almost like a surrogate father figure or male role model. And they try and live up to that whole thing. And, in their mind, they're trying to impress him, even if they don't know him, or whatever. But I just think it's very toxic because, again, I'm not saying if you're like that and you want to do that and you're a Navy SEAL type character and makeup, knock yourself out. I'm not, there's lots of different people in the world, go do it. But most of us aren't like that. And I think the problem starts when we try to be like that, when we're not. And so, I try to put a different kind of path and model of success in front of you that is not that one. Because I think that one, for whatever reason, gets most of the shine. I feel like that way of being, certainly with weight loss, that is the predominant way people think about losing weight, right? Whether it's Jillian Michaels, David Goggins. I mean, it's just a never ending, list of people that are really obsessively intense, extreme, type A, motivated, all that. And, I don't know. I'm motivated and I'm focused on the rest, but not like that. I don't understand, so it's like, I try to give you an alternative because we all know about the David Goggins way. You know what I mean? Like if you're that type of person who just wants to jump into something 100% and do it, knock yourself out. But if you try it 10 times, it doesn't work. I would probably ask you to reflect on the fact that maybe you're not David Goggins. Maybe you're not Jillian Michaels. Maybe you're built different. Maybe you need a different strategy. You don't have to do it that way. Nothing would get me shittier results than if I try to be David Goggins. I find that to be, I'm so repelled by that approach just to my core, So yeah, I would love it but I knock at him because I know he inspires a lot of people, but I do something different. I literally work with real people to get them results. He does too though. But again, he works with people that are just, outliers, outlier extreme people. So again, I'm not saying it's not good, but I'm saying you're probably not like that. Like, I'll tell you what, if you're overweight and if you've been overweight for 10, 20 years, you're not David Goggins. Like you're not ever going to be like David Goggins, most likely. Now, there's always an outlier to prove me wrong, but I mean, the vast majority of you, if you've been overweight for 10, 20 years, struggling with your exercising, eating, motivation, David Goggins is probably not the answer. But that's for you to decide. But that would be a funny chat. I wonder in my life what past things will take. But that would be so funny to me, to be in that. But I will say, on that note, I did a series, an interview series, probably 10 years ago. I called it The Elite Body. And I spoke with, at that time, a lot of the top fitness trainers, nutritionists on the planet, right? People online, they were online, had a huge online presence, had programs, books, all the rest of it. And I would always talk to them. The first half of the interview would be about strategies and techniques to use. And the second half was always about motivation. And I always remember in mindset. And so there's one guy specifically, Craig Ballantyne, who is the creator of Turbulence Training. And I asked him, I said, well, what do you do when you have a client and they're not motivated? And he goes, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, when you get a client and they're like this, they don't want to work out. They're just not motivated, not feeling it. What do you do? He's like, what do you mean? I was like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? Right. And I was like, when they're not motivated, what do you say to them? He's like, I don't know. When they come to me, they are motivated. I was like, oh, I was like, I have like the wrong business, because it's like, I work with people that come to me. It's like, I don't know, feeling it the way, Jim, it's like, how do you get people that don't feel it back on track? And I said, oh, Jesus, I'm one of the few doing that. You know what I mean? Like, because all the trainers, you have to show up there motivated, basically, and same with the nutritionists, dietitians. There really is very few people in the weight loss industry that, like, again, and we have a little bit more coaching now, but even the coaching alone, the coaching's great. I love coaching. But I think what makes what I'm doing different is the hypnosis and the psychology piece as well. That goes a lot deeper into it. So very practical. But anyways, when I did speak to a lot of those people, and that's what I realized is that when it comes to mindset, you had to show up there with that no pain, no gain, hyped up, motivated. All right, let's do it. You had to show up with that energy. And so that was pretty consistent with most of them. And so very few of them had really. Tom Venuto, I will say, I'm a huge fan of. I think he's super duper great. He's so great. We ended up doing like a 2-hour interview, and I've interviewed him multiple times since then. I'd like to redo that. He's so great. If you don't know him, he did Burn the Fat, Feed the Muscle. And I think he's the real deal, But of course, he's an NLP guy too. He'd done neuro-linguistic programming trainings as well. So it wasn't a surprise. But he's super awesome. And he actually has written books since then. And there's a lot of mindset stuff in there. But most of those people, and again, this is the problem with the fitness trainers and the dietitians, they'll tell you what to do. And you'll do it when you're fired up and motivated. But what do you do when all of a sudden your motivation disappears? You got no tools. And they ain't teaching you any of them. So that's always the thing. Yeah, sounds funny. Nobody's legit. He's just soul. No, I've heard that, Marcy. I literally have heard the hanging from the bar thing. I've heard that before. And like I said, you saying, so here's an example. Actually, I was just talking about this, right? There's knowing something logically and believing it. And then it's going deeper. Okay. So you just literally in real time, I just experienced that. Cause in this, I was joke. My wife always, gets mad at me about this. So it's like, she's told me something and then it's so funny. Alex Hormozy's been kind of the guy like on the other side where it's like, I'll see a video of his and he'll say something, just hits me differently or whatever. My wife told me that 3 months ago. And I was like, oh, it should get mad at me because I didn't listen to her. But it's not that I didn't listen to her because it's the same in the shoulder. So I had a friend and I believed it. I've hung from the bar and started feeling better. And it's like, oh, I should do this. And then I kind of forgot about it a bit. And then my son, busted my chops with that whole thing. I got rid of it. But now Marcy said again, now it's the second, well, it's actually more, this is probably the third or fourth time I've heard this. But then I looked at the website real quick and I saw him right away hanging from the bar. And for some reason I was like, oh, hanging from the bar again. And, but now it just feels like it's gone deeper in me. Will that mean I hang from a bar or not? I don't know. But I bet at some point in my life, and you'll all see this, we'll see what happens. But I bet at some point in my life, I hang from a bar and it probably is going to help me out a lot. Now I will say, God damn it, Jim, you should have done that 2 years earlier. So regret's always a part of this process. But this is what I'm trying to say. There's knowing something logically. The first time I heard about hanging from a bar, a friend of mine told me, and I believe him. It helped fix his shoulder. I believed him. I said, I got to start doing that. I did it a little bit. Then I stopped. And so this is what I'm trying to say. Just because you know something logically doesn't mean tomorrow you're just going to do it perfectly. And I know that sounds obvious when I put it this way, but how are you approaching your diet? Isn't that what you're expecting? That tomorrow's Monday and I'm going to eat perfectly? So it's like you have to get yourself more in the mindset of, this is so important, I'm going to keep focusing on it. And, I'll try things and I'll make mistakes, and then something will be reinforced and I'll do it again and I'll do it better. And that's the real path of success, in my opinion. So again, thank you very much, Marcy, for mentioning that. KT says Instagram handle called Stop Chasing Pain was miraculous in helping my brother's shoulder pain. I'll check that out too. Yeah, because this shoulder thing, I'm feeling on the right side of it, and it's so funny. I don't know, like why people have asked me, said, Jim, why haven't you gone to a doctor for this thing? And I think I was avoiding the doctor partly because I knew why I had this problem, and it was because I knew my setup work-wise was off, and I knew I kept I keep my shoulder frozen a lot of the day because I'm using a computer mouse. It was up here, and whatever it's doing, whether it's impinging a nerve or doing something else, I knew this was the core problem. So I've lowered this whole setup. I've made better now, and it is feeling different and better, and so I'm feeling a lot more confident that I can fix it. So now I'm kind of like, I'm getting more motivated about it too. Stop Chasing Pain. I love that name, because that's what I feel like. I feel like I've been chasing pain for years. Anyways, thank you for that. I'll check that out. I said he would respect you so much. I genuinely believe it. I feel like he is mostly doing it for show. I believe that too, Mario. I think it's kind of a bit of an act for sure. Yeah, the way he acts and stuff. He knows how to catch people's attention. Yeah, and again, I totally recognize that. I know how that game goes. So I think David Goggins is a good guy. I don't know him or anything. I don't really even follow him much, but I'm really speaking more to that concept than the person itself. And I'm sure he's probably a great person. And I don't give a shit because he's inspired a lot of people and helped a lot of people. But there's also the dark side of it too, that I think he's sabotaged a lot of people too. Because I think a lot of people think that's the way you have to do it. And then if they can't do it that way, they think like they're failures, which brings me back to the dieting. That's my problem with dieting, is that the dieting thing is, it's like people think that's the only way they can lose weight. And if it doesn't work, they think, oh, there's something wrong with me. No, that's just one way. And if it doesn't work for you, there's other ways. I think most people don't realize that. You know what I mean? So he says, I have discipline to exercise and I can't extend it to my eating for some reason. Yeah. The hypnotist in me says, I have discipline to exercise and I haven't been able to extend it to my eating for some reason yet. So that's what my brain does when I hear, now I say limiting shit all the time too. So, you could pick on me for my language sometimes as well. Just want to make that clear. But when I hear people speaking, me as a neurolinguistic programmer, words to me are very, very specific. And when I hear someone say, I can't extend it, right, that would mean I can't extend my motivation to eating. And I don't think that's true. I think I could talk to you for 10 minutes and I could get you motivated where it would extend right out to the eating, at least somewhat, So again, language matters. But what's up, all modern mom? How's it going? It says, your approach to weight loss has been so validating. I always thought I had some sort of moral failing. Yes, exactly, Marcy. That's exactly what I was just saying. And that again, I know I say this probably every day, but one of the main reasons I get out here every day for free to talk on the podcast is because, yes, I want people to live longer. And I think weight is life or death. So absolutely I want people to live longer. But in some ways, it's almost even more important, is I want you to have a better quality of life, because I feel like a lot of people struggling with their weight really, again, they feel like it's a moral failing. They feel like it's their fault. They're broken. There's something wrong with them. They hate themselves because of this thing. And I'm trying to tell you, it's not that. It's that you've never been taught a real strategy. No one's ever really shown you how to, how to do this the right way. And I know this because I've been around the block. You know what I mean? Like, no one's showing you how to shift your mindset and do it right. Yeah. So he says, yeah. Growth mindset. Exactly. Right. There's the growth mindset stuff, which is pretty good stuff. Yeah, lots of shame around failing, but not here. Shame-free zone. Yeah, absolutely, right? Because once we feel shame, and again, I'm not going to this right now, but I'm a big believer in the diet conspiracy. The diet companies don't want you to lose weight. The diet companies are owned by the food companies. I haven't said this in a while. Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz. Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. The company that owns Atkins Food Products, owned by the same company that owns Auntie Anne's Pretzels and Cinnabon. The company that owns Slim Fast, the same company that owns Ben & Jerry's ice cream. These companies don't want you to lose weight. They want you to get you coming going. They want to fill your head with rocks when it comes to weight loss, so that you just keep eating the same amount of bullshit food. And I think one of the main ways they make that happen is they set up the diets in a way so it's so easy to feel shame, right? You feel ashamed of yourself because the diets are fucking stupid. The idea that you're gonna struggle with your weight and your eating for 10 years, and then tomorrow's Monday though, and so in one day, in 12 hours, I'm going to completely transform myself. I'm going to completely change the way I eat, and now I'm going to get any carbs, or now I'm going to eat perfectly. Now I'm going to have complete control over my eating. Right? That's a fucking goofy premise. And so yeah, you're going to fail, which that's the normal part. The weird part is why you would feel ashamed of that. Right. So again, I let me put in different context. It's like if you never played piano and you want to learn to play the piano and you say, I want to learn fast, so I'm gonna play 10 hours a day. Okay, well, on paper, that sounds great. But let me know how the end of the day goes, that 10th hour. Right. And then when you wake up the next morning and your hands are like this and you fucking hate the piano, how's that second day going? How's the third day going? Right. That's a terrible strategy. You're set up for failure right from the beginning. Should you feel ashamed that the third day, I can't do it anymore? Man, I can't do it. Should you feel ashamed, or should you feel fine because you could have never done that? It's too much. I want to run a marathon. Okay, how are you going to do it? I'm going to start running a marathon tomorrow. I'm going to run a marathon every day. Well, that's a bad strategy. It doesn't work. And it's like, then you feel ashamed of yourself. That's why I say the diet thing, like I could literally write a book on it. I'm going to write a book on it. I got to get this other book out of the way first, which I'm getting to. I know I keep saying I'm going to get to it, but I keep, I'm going to solidify some things, but ultimately that book about the diet industry is going to be great. KT said, oh my God, I did turbulence training back in the day. Yeah. Throwback. Yep. Valentine Venuto did all that. Yeah. I should do that. I got that elite body interviews I did, for like specific strategy. I learned so much. That was as valuable for me as for anyone. I ended up doing like 30, 40 of those interviews with people. It was really good. But it also let me know, that these people didn't really have a lot of insight on the mindset side. There a couple people did, but most didn't really have a whole lot there. It was kind of like a little awkward almost, but it was enlightening. But it's so funny you did all that, KT. That's hilarious to me. Jim says, I truly don't believe most people who listen to Tony actually get long-lasting results, if any at all. It's all extreme stuff for most normal people. Yeah. Agreed with that. I mean, I even think that like Tony Robbins is my hero. I love Tony Robbins. I mean, he literally changed the course of my life. Now, that being said, I've never gone to one of his live things because I see two different things going on there, and so I don't want to shit talk about anything, but I think there's a lot of show there. I learned a lot studying stage hypnosis. I'm a certified stage hypnotist, right? I never did it, but learning it was very, very helpful for me, to really understand a lot of dynamics that are at play in. Yeah, I don't want to go down that path, but yeah, I learned a lot from that. Oh, okay, Don, you've been doing the hanging from a bar for the last couple of months. And I did it and it felt good. I don't know. Like I told you, my kid, I had to like handcuff him or something, tape his arms down. I'm going to start hanging from that bar. Yeah. Mario said the same thing. Exactly. Most of us thought there's something wrong with us when the diets failed. Yes, exactly, folks. That's literally the biggest reason I get out here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Shouldn't even be a theory. It's just true. It's right in front of us. Yeah. True story. It is true. Jim says, yeah, I'm very impressed by him, but your way of doing things seems so much better and realistic. Yeah, I would agree. I think everything I'm talking about is really field tested in the real world by normal people, So again, listen, I've been doing this for a long time. It would be very easy for me. I could easily make a lot more money than I currently make by putting like diets and programs together that wouldn't really work. And what those diets and programs would be me just telling you what to do. I could literally make a program and it would basically be like what I eat all day long, how I live, my 8 habits, and I would just tell you how to do all those things. And I could sell that. And it would sell like crazy because I know how to market things where people get excited and buy it and that's that. But it wouldn't work because you wouldn't have the mindset piece. And so I think, again, I've said this before, but most weight loss stuff is built around the idea that they're telling you what to do. Do this, right? And then it's like, yeah, it makes sense on paper. Yeah, if I did this, I get great results. But the question always comes down to, can you get yourself to do it? And that's the problem. And so no one's ever showing you how to get yourself to do it. And that's where I feel like is the biggest vacuum when it comes to weight loss stuff, Um, so yeah. Yeah, Jim says so much respect for you because if I was you, I would remake the program. You're a good guy. No, I've thought that. I mean, like again, because I can't. It means so much. I've said this to you guys many times that this whole thing's like a mission for me. That's why I do the free thing every day. And I will coach anyone. I don't care. I will coach you all for free because this literally is my mission. It's so important to me. And yeah, I would never, ever, never, never, ever I would never cynically offer something that I didn't think would really work. And that's been to my detriment, to be honest. I've spent 20 years professionally working on programs because I will tell you what you do. If you start your own business, what you do is you do things the way you've seen other people do them. And so when you see, oh, well, that's a program, you always see, oh, they're really successful teaching a weight loss program. How do they do it? Oh, there it is. They just tell you what to do. Right. And so it's like, I've done that. I've that initially be like, oh, just do this. Then you realize that doesn't work for most people. They get hyped up and buy it. You can sell a lot of it, but it doesn't really work. It doesn't really help them change. And so a lot of my career is balancing out, what actually works and convincing people of that because people are conditioned to buy diets and to buy diet wrapped programs. And so to teach them something in a different way, to talk about mindset, to talk about the deeper aspects, you kind of have to educate people. And it's a much harder road. So yeah, it's I mean, shit, I've had the thin formula. They're all good programs, though. I would say they're all I think even my worst program, I think is better than most of the programs out here. Cause again, these programs are fine in terms of like when you're fired up and motivated, but your problem, folks, isn't doing the program when you're fired up and motivated, is it? The problem is, what do you do when all of a sudden you're not motivated? How do you keep going? That's the problem, isn't it? So that's why I say the diets are never going to work for you because they're never fixing that problem. They're great. Yeah, when you're fired up and motivated, all the diets work. Every diet works if you do it. The problem is you can't get yourself to do it long term. And no one ever talks about that. And that's all I talk about. So, but anyways, yeah, it does make it harder to sell, but at the end of the day, but anyways, I don't know. That's the other thing though, too. And I say this to you guys that, the weight and I will very quickly here. I got another TikTok channel. It's shit. What is it? It's Jim Kitsulis too. This one's Jim Kitsulis. This one used to be Program Yourself then. Even that's all I talk about here. I switched over to my name. But anyways, there'll be another one because I love talking about business. Because I talk about weight mastery, and I'm obsessed with that. But right after that, I'm obsessed with I love business. I love it. I love working. I love running a business. I love all this stuff. And so it's funny because weight and money are really parallel concepts because they're two things in our society that are means to an end. It's not just about being a certain weight. It's not just about having enough money. It's how we're doing those things and what they give us. And so they're very, very similar. But so I have brought everything I'm sharing with you is the exact same kind of mindset and strategies I used with my business. And the thing with business is if you start your own business, you need to have that long-term focus. You need to be able to constantly optimize until you figure out something that works. And you need to have that resilience. And to me, they're one and the same. And so again, this is the path less traveled and it's been harder in a lot of ways, but it's brought me to places health-wise and business-wise that I could have only dreamed of. It's just hard to even imagine. So that's just a little motivation for you to stick with it, folks, even when things are hard, you know what I mean? Yeah. Mario said people definitely buy that stuff. It's incredible. Yeah, I could. Yeah, because I've sold it. I have absolutely. Listen, I have promoted other people's programs, and I see what works. You know what I mean? But again, it's. And I'm not blaming anyone for it, but for me, it feels cynical because I know it needs to have this deeper piece in there. And so, anyways, yeah, you have a skill that millions are dreaming of. This is true. I'm starting my own business. I love your little nuggets of business wisdom you share. Yeah, Marcy. Marcy, you know what I'll do too? I don't know if you want to do it while you're in the program, but I'll just give it to you. You can let me know. But I actually made a program a couple of years ago called, it's a solar, oh shit, I can't remember the name of it, but I call it for solopreneur success. But it was for, people starting their own businesses. And it's basically, it's set up like Program Yourself in a little bit, where it's like 5-minute hypnosis sessions in the morning. And I think there's 30 of them, but anyways, kind of get your mindset right. But if you want one of those, shoot me an email. I'll hook you up for that. What's up, Jonathan? Here at the last minute. Yeah. Shoot me. I'll send you that, Marcy. I'll just give it to you for now. Like I said, I will. That'll be, at some point. I got a lot of things I want to do, and there's some hypnosis stuff I want to do as well. But just casually, just talking about business stuff, because that's the other thing too. Because I don't want to get too much on this right now, because this is really weight related. But the business stuff for me, and again, I'm not saying people could do what they want to do, but if you're an entrepreneurial minded person, as you can imagine, the mindset piece is absolutely crucial. And so I love working with entrepreneurs. I've coached entrepreneurs too. I've been doing that for a long time, but I would love to put that information out there, because again, right past health and weight is again, that ability to support yourself on your own, and so I love talking about that shit too. But that'll be somewhere in the future, but I'll love to get it out there. Yeah, just 2 hour live again. Wow, I'm amazed at how long you can talk about this stuff for. Yeah, I mean, it's what I do. Folks, I've been doing this stuff every day like this for 30 years, but I've been doing this professionally for 20 years. This is what I do every day. I think about weight mastery all day and talk about it all day. I mean, it's been, all day long coaching and talking weight loss for literally 20 years. So it's funny, because this is the easiest part of my day, is get on these lives and just talking, because it's just what I do. So coaching and doing the podcast are the easiest parts. So anyways, all right, everyone, I gotta get out of here, because it has been 2 hours. Holy shit. All right, everyone. If you're not in my world, make sure you click on my bio, get the hypnosis session I give you. It's free. Watch the video I made for you. It's free. Read the emails I send you. They're free. I do have I didn't mention anything I was going to mention today, but we got the boot camp coming up. Again, that's a higher level coaching program that you may be interested in. It's going to start September 1st. And it's going to run 4 months. So it would be an opportunity for you to make a huge commitment to your weight and your health, and really get amazing results for the rest of the year, and start 2025 off just kicking ass. So if you sign up for the hypnosis session, you'll get the email, and you'll see the little link to get on the wait list. That registration for that, for those of you that are on the wait list, registration for that will probably open Thursday. And you'll get kind of first dibs at it if it's something you want to do. And I'm just putting together some of the more details of it, and I will get those out to you as well. So, all right. And then the podcast is Program Yourself. Then every day we do this live Monday through Friday, usually around noon Eastern. And then the podcast is put up on all the major platforms, Program Yourself. Then you can listen to it, or watch it on YouTube, as well. So, all right, everyone, super duper. Have a great day.